All right, here we are. It has been a little while since my last upload, about 2 weeks. Some stuff has changed. Yeah. So originally, this whole idea was supposed to be just like I was gonna list like the top five movies that like influenced Station Square stories, but I was just having like a terrible time going through and deciding on like what to pick. So instead, what I decided to do was we're just gonna talk about every physical movie I own, um, but in brief detail. So it's kind of like a collection video plus like the other idea I was going for anyway. Yeah, we got a lot to get through, so let's get right into it. Most of this is like there's kind of like two categories and then some extra stuff. We're starting with the extra stuff first. First thing I have here, this is a seven classics Stephen King movies. I have not seen all of these. The ones I have seen are Graveyard Shift, which is so terrible, but I loved every second of it. Silver Bullet, which was also kind of trash, and The Dead Zone. The Dead Zone was really good. Really cool kind of concept for something like that. And yeah, I love Stephen King stuff. I don't really read books. I want to kind of start reading books. I just got glasses too. I should have worn them, but whatever. Um, which has made it easier to do stuff like that. So like my eyes just like can't really do anything. So maybe I might be able to enjoy novels going forward. I have had stuff I've wanted to read, but I'm like, bro, I just can't. I just can't do it, bro. Anyway, let's continue with Pacific Rim. This is both of the Pacific Rim movies. I have not seen Uprising. I hear it is terrible. But the first Pacific Rim is really fun, really cool. I'm not as like emotionally attached to it as I am something like it's two franchises we're gonna talk about later, Cloverfield and Godzilla, which are two of my favorite franchises of all time. Not nearly as attached to it, but I still think the first movie was dumb fun, and I kind of wanted to give it a rewatch. Oh, I didn't even know I had this. This is Gabriel Iglesias, the Fluffy movie. Um, it's a stand-up special. I was really into him when I was young. I think he's kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. Um, yeah, don't really have a lot of strong thoughts on that now. This is J.J. Abrams, who I love, and Steven Spielberg, who I'm actually not super familiar with. This is Super 8. Super 8 is a fun alien movie about a kid, and like it's kind of generic, and like it's not like super deep, and like everything is very like I think it's like a perfect like first baby's first PG-13 movie. It does get a little intense at times, but it is so fun. I watched this with my girlfriend at after my surgery, and bro, I love this movie. I've seen it twice. It is just so fun. The alien is great, and I watched it because some people speculated like it might have kind of been connected to Cloverfield at one point, but it's not. I don't think it is. I think it's great. It's a great standalone movie. It's super fun. Here's Gorgo, one of the weirdest kind of monster movies I own. I like the concept of them taking the baby and then the mom shows up to take it. I've only seen this once. It's another movie I'm want to give a rewatch at some point. Um, it's like set in I want to say London, right? Because there's like the London Tower. Um, a 65-foot prehistoric monster. Yeah, and then like two people take him, they kidnap him. You know, mom shows up to get it. It's a really fun non-Godzilla movie. It's like Godzilla but not. It kind of has the same charm though, and I kind of like it because it is a standalone movie, which I feel like standalone giant monster movies are kind of rare. They usually spawn a really bad sequel or two. Um, yeah. No surprise here. Here's Knuckles. Haven't watched this yet. It's on my list. For whatever reason, none of these ever like super captivated me. I've seen the first movie, and I just need to get through the rest of them. Because to be honest, I don't really get the hype yet. The first movie was okay, but everything it didn't make me like really want to watch the other ones. Yeah, Knuckles. I'm excited for this though, because you know Knuckles is my favorite Sonic character. So whatever. Fighting with My Family. This is a movie about Paige or Soraya, WWE superstar, AEW wrestler. One of like, oh my god, like this movie like actually like messes with me like physically. Like, bro, I watched this in theaters when it came out, and bro, it was like devastating. Like, there's so many parts of this movie that like break your heart, and like you feel it. It's a really well done movie. Dwayne Johnson, probably the best thing he's ever done. Except for I don't know what produced means. I think producers really don't really do much on as far as movies are concerned. But yeah, Fighting with My Family. If you like wrestling or you want like a really really good like emotional movie, this is it, bro. Oh hell yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing. Really fun. You got Kurt Russell being a badass, and like all the characters. I like how ambiguous it is. I like that it stands on its own until they made it like a sequel in 2011 or like a prequel. I haven't seen that yet. It was on Tubi. I was gonna watch it, but I think it might be off Tubi now. Just to complain about it, this movie has like weird menu setup as far as like if I'm watching it on my PS5, like it has like a weird menu setup that I'm not okay with. But other than that, it is a fine experience. Kurt Russell definitely steals the show. Obviously, he's the main character, and all the other characters do a pretty good job. And it is low-key scary AF, and has some of the best body horror I've ever seen in my life. Here is like 10 or 5 classic sci-fi movies. I bought this because it had Tarantula, which is ironically one of the movies I still haven't watched on it. I watched Monster on the Campus from this, and that movie was so trash, but so kind of fun trash. It has some other movies. This kind of era of this kind of stuff is like low-key like a guilty pleasure of mine. Monster on the Campus was, I give it a recommend if you can like deal with like some very cringe stuff, but it's low-key fun. Some sci-fi movies I still need to get through. Okay, here we go. This is Creepshow season 4. I don't even know why I own this. I haven't watched it. I don't even know if like the seasons go back to back. I don't know if this is an anthology series or not. If it's an anthology series, I'd watch it. But now it's like, bro, do I need to watch the first like few seasons to enjoy this? Here's Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest is a show I watched a lot as a kid, and I recently bought this to have it again. It has 3 discs. This is the complete first season. The first season is the only one I've really seen. All the other seasons, like, I have no recollection or like have no memories of, and I hear they aren't as good. But like the green lizard people, the giant like electric monster, the mummy episode, the one where they're being chased by the guy with the dragons, they all remember the Yeti episode, like legitimately. I love kind of old Hanna-Barbera stuff, so yeah, this is really cool. It does not age super well. Very politically not correct is Johnny Quest season 1. I have not seen everything else, but I doubt everything else really is politically correct either. Here's the miniseries version of it. I still want to own the most recent 2 versions of it, but I love this. This is really cool. I think it gets a bad rap a little bit. I think it just has that old charm from like stuff from this era of like the 80s. Just like how the movie's edited. I love like the fade throughs and like the kind of cheap effects, but that are low key like cool. I would say the ending of the miniseries is a lot more satisfying than the theatrical one. despite the fact the theatrical one had like obviously a lot more of a budget, I think I preferred this ending. And it has like a very like uplifting kind of ending at the end with the bike. I think it was cute. Not necessarily like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but this is if you count both of these as like one movie, I think this is probably in my top 5, top 10 easy. All right, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. This is a Ray Harryhausen flick with the, is this the Rhedosaurus? Or is that? Yeah, this is the Rhedosaurus one. Really cool. The effects work great. I've watched this twice, and both times it held my attention. Movies like this from this era, I would want to own them all. Like, they're all so fun. I actually think this might even be one of my lesser favorite ones, and I don't even own all of them. Like, there's like this, it came from beneath the sea, the Earth versus the flying saucer, 20 million miles to Earth. I think are all somewhat superior to this actually, but this is also really good. All 4 of those movies, really fun. I highly recommend all of them. If you can get past the fact that they are old ass movies, you know what I'm saying? Some people just don't vibe with that. Okay. I get to talk about my top 2 favorite movie of all time. It's Cloverfield. I literally just watched this a few days ago. Bro, I could watch this movie every day and not get sick of it. I love it. I think it could stand alone. If they never made a sequel, I still think I would consider this one of the greatest movies of all time. And I'm not even like huge into found footage. Like, I've seen a few things, but like nothing has done it as well as this has. And it's weird because like I get motion sickness kind of. So like the fact that this like doesn't bother me. Like, it has very shaky camera. Yeah, it has it had a cool ARG. There's a really cool, I wish I knew the guy's name. He has like a whole unpacking of, it's called like the mystery box of Cloverfield, part 1 and part 2. Watch that stuff. Gives you a new appreciation. I love that ARG stuff, despite the fact that I wasn't there for it. I think it's really cool that they did that, and it's something I would love to try at some point in my life, but not right now. The only thing that really brings us down is that like one of the main characters is like kind of controversial now. The actor is TJ Miller. I can get over it because of how great this movie is, but I could understand how, like, if you know he's kind of like a douche, how you might not enjoy this. But I can get over it. I love Cloverfield. Yeah. And here's another copy of Cloverfield, as well as 10 Cloverfield Lane. 10 Cloverfield Lane is also probably my top 10 favorite movies of all time, with the original. Everyone loves to talk about, bro, John Goodman in this movie is so freaking scary, and like he's like such a nice guy. Like, whenever I see him outside of stuff, or like he's kind of funny in like Skull Island and like stuff like that, but like he is terrifying in this movie, and I like it because I bet it was made super cheap until the end, maybe. But like this, just the way everything's written and like how it's edited and just like how everything comes. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. Despite the fact that the ending has very little, when you watch it the first time, you're expecting, it's not Cloverfield as far as like the first Cloverfield. It has nothing to do with the original Cloverfield, really. They kind of tie it in during this, which we'll talk about. But very little, no giant monster, just spoilers, aliens. But yeah, truly an amazing movie. I think every character is done very well. Except for like there's one character who has a lot less to do with the story, who I feel like is just there to very symbolically die. But you know, 10 Cloverfield Lane, also A 10 out of 10 movie. One of the best. And then we have Cloverfield Paradox, a movie which seeks to connect the previous two films. And whenever I watch Cloverfield and then 10 Cloverfield Lane, I do watch Paradox after, knowing I think it's a lot lesser of an experience. I think I like this movie more than most people do. This is a Netflix thing. It's kind of like the thing in space, but the thing isn't like a thing. It's just like dimensions clashing in like different universes and paradoxes, and yeah, there's a super obvious human antagonist that gets brought in. And yeah, the only thing people really talk about this movie for anymore is the last 10-15 seconds where the thing that connects it to the first movie kind of comes out from literally beneath the surface and shows its head. But yeah, it's fine. It's fun. I enjoy it for what it is. I like it in the fact that it is Cloverfield. It's a Cloverfield movie, and you know, I will probably watch this multiple times through the rest of my life. So, if I still care, you know, but not nearly as good as the first two. Let's continue. Here is The Grudge and The Grudge 2. I do not own The Grudge 3 or The Grudge 2020 or whatever it is. I've only seen the first one, the first Sarah Michelle Gellar Grudge movie, the American one. Super fun. Oh my god, so fun. Scary, low-key scary AF. Keeps me on the edge of my toes. Or like there's such a few. I could get how like I hear the second movie is even more confusing because you got like timelines and characters going all over the place, and like I hear the second movie is actually a lot more convoluted. But the thing I remember the most about the first Grudge movie is the part where I believe it's the sister or of the people who move into the house, maybe she's going back to her apartment building, and the thing is like the chick from The Grudge is stalking her, and then yeah, she gets murked and she gets sucked under the covers, and yeah, the ending was really cool too. And then yeah, I hear Sarah Michelle Gellar's character comes back in the second movie, but I hear she doesn't really have a lot to do. I think she might just kind of get killed off. Yeah, I have not watched this version of the film. I've only seen like the one that they have on like Tubi. I bought this after watching it because I liked it so much I knew I'd want to watch it again. But so this is the unrated version, so I would be excited to go back and watch this. So yeah, that is The Grudge, and all of my movies start to fall over. I'm going to move them up. And we got 3 more in this stack before we move on to the next stack. I could talk about movies like this all day if I wanted to. We got 3 more. This is Them. It's a movie about giant ants I haven't seen yet. It's from that same kind of era as The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. This is by far the best of the 50 cycle of creature features, according to David Prairie, whoever that is. Yeah, so it's still in the shrink wrap. I haven't even opened it. Next up, we have 2 modern films. Which one should I start with? I'll start off with the one that I will defend a little bit here. Here's Until Dawn. Based off the game, if you watch my top 10 favorite games of all time, you know I kind of gave all those supermassive games like the honorable mention slot. Yeah, I think this movie is a little bit overhated, kind of similar to Cloverfield Paradox. I enjoy it for what it is. I like that it kind of gives a bit more lore into the first Until Dawn movie, and kind of came out, and then they did a remaster of the game, which I own too. I would say this is like a 7 out of 10 movie. Like, I enjoy it for what it is. I love the makeup and the special effects. They're so practical and like actually low-key scary AF. And like the scene in the bathroom is super memorable to me. And like just the end where you're like, bro, are they all gonna die actually? Are they actually gonna make it? Or are they're actually gonna kill one of them off? Um, yep. So Until Dawn, I love it. I love the game, so I kind of love this because it has a lot to do with the game. It's kind of loosely connected, but it's connected enough to make me still kind of attached to it in that kind of way. Until Dawn, and then we got one of the greatest movies I think I've ever seen. Maybe not my favorite, but I think objectively one of the best. Succumb to the Darkness. Here's Nosferatu from 2024. I watched this in theaters. I saw a trailer for it during Monday Night Raw when I was watching wrestling, and like very rarely do trailers like that make me want to go see a movie, and like that one actually did. So I went by myself to my old theater, which is now closed unfortunately, and yeah, scary AF, like super stylized in such a great way. I need to watch this again. The Bill Skarsgård performance, so good. And then you got like Willem Dafoe also being a crazy dude. The ending is super freaking disgusting in like the best way possible. I love Nosferatu. I've not seen the silent film version. I do kind of want to because I appreciate stupid, dumb art like that. Yeah. Check this out if you haven't. Also, like, not afraid to show straight up child murder, which is something I appreciate to a certain extent. Okay. This is my knockoff version of Monarch. I'll just say, go watch my short about it. I love the show. It's a really cool show. Makes me actually care about the human characters in like a monster movie. The monsters are very low-key, like not important, or like very much only in a few scenes. I think probably in total monsters were only on screen for maybe 20-25 minutes. Yeah, check this out on Apple TV. I think the next season comes out in a few days. Yeah, here we go. Let's continue with my Japanese collector's edition of one of the greatest movies of all time, Godzilla Minus One. Yeah. Oh my god, this movie's amazing. Like, literally perfect. Literally, like, I think the perfect monster movie. I went with my freaking father, who does not give a damn about monster movies, and he enjoyed this film. Comes with like 4 versions, though. And yeah, it is a bit scarier than most of the other ones. Like, I would say that opening sequence on that island actually kind of terrified me. And yeah, Godzilla Minus Zero coming out this year. Excited to see what that entails. I wonder if we'll just go straight to Ghidorah, if we'll get Mothra, if we'll get Rodan, if we'll get any of that kind of stuff, or if we'll just see a direct, like, Godzilla sequel. They do the thing that they do at the end of a lot of stuff like this, where they're like, maybe it's not actually dead. I doubt he died, but literally top 2 scariest versions of Godzilla right here. Yeah, really cool. Godzilla Minus One. I was talking about these a little earlier, so we'll go through this a little fast. Here's Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3. I haven't watched 2 or 3 yet. 1 is truly a very average movie to me. Nothing that made me go, I love Sonic. I would say the Sonic Boom Cartoon Network cartoon is better than this, and like, I know I'll probably catch some heat for that, but it's Sonic. I don't think it's not Sonic. I think it's just like meh to me. And then you got 2 and 3 I haven't seen. I do really want to get to 3 because I think Shadow would be kind of badass, and then see how 2 works, introducing Knuckles and Tails maybe. Um, Idris Elba plays Knuckles, and I like Idris Elba, and I like Knuckles, so we got some box sets here. We got the Showa and Heisei era of Gamera movies. I still need to get through these. Yeah, I've only really seen clips. I have, however, watched the Netflix Gamera Rebirth show, which was low-key way more effed up than I was expecting it to be. It was actually pretty cool. I actually really liked Gamera Rebirth as my first Gamera thing, like actually low-key cool. And I think all those kaiju are in these movies, so I'd be excited to see how they work in kind of like a live-action setting. Yeah, so Showa and Heisei era Gamera, want to watch them at some point. I usually watch stuff like that when I get sick and I'll like marathon them. I haven't really been super sick in a long time, except we have one of my favorite like normal people kind of shows, I guess. Here's Superstore, the complete series. I love this show. All the characters, Cheyenne, Garrett, Glenn, like Loki, funny AF. Like I wish my humor could like at all rival how much this made me laugh. I think over time it definitely gets worse, but like I think every sitcom like this low-key gets worse over time. I would say the high points are like season 2 and like season 3, and then season 1 they kind of, it takes a minute to get them in a good flow, but yeah, really funny. Recommend it if you like stuff like The Office. I like this more than something like The Office. Yeah, and then to go in a completely opposite direction to that, let's talk about Saw. This is my 10 movie collection, 20th anniversary edition. This contains every Saw movie. I bought these to watch with my girlfriend. I haven't even started these with her. What can I say? The first Saw movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. And yeah, I think Saw 2 is amazing. Saw X is really good. Saw 6. And then all the other movies have their moments of mix. I love how unperfect this is. If we are going to, I'm going to blind just kind of go through them and rank them. Worst one I think is Spiral, then Jigsaw, Saw 7, Saw 3, Saw 5, Saw 4, Saw 6, Saw X, Saw 2, Saw 1. I think I got them all. Unless I missed 6. I don't remember. But yeah, those were kind of like from worst to best. If you haven't seen the first movie is actually very tame. If you don't like the people getting really maimed, the first movie is pretty tame actually. So if you don't mess with that, I still think the first movie's worth watching on its own. I think it stands by itself. But the sequels are where you get all the insanity. Shout out Dead Meat, Hot Sauce Summer, one of the best things I've ever watched. Like some of the most fun I've had watching like a podcast like ever. So 10 Saw movies there. Alright, we got 2 stacks left, and hopefully we can get through these very fast. We've kind of got through everything, and now we're kind of on to the last two, next we're just going to be mainly talking about Godzilla, and the last pile is Scooby-Doo stuff. So, yeah. What do we want to start with? I think we'll start with just whatever closest to me. Oh, here's 2005's King Kong. One of my favorite movies of all time. Peter Jackson kills this. Absolutely destroys. Like, this movie's so kick-ass. It's like 3 hours long. And yeah, I cried like a baby at the end. I haven't watched any of the bonus features. I watched this on Netflix originally, and then like immediately like, oh my god, as soon as that monkey fell off that building I was sobbing. Bro, felt so bad for him. Yeah, I don't like long movies either, so it says a lot that I like really enjoyed that. Let's continue. Here's three MonsterVerse movies. I'm not one who super cares about like owning everything individually. Um, so I kind of just like to have everything so I can watch it whenever I want. That's kind of all I really care about. So here's three of them. Here's Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Kong Skull Island. Let's talk about them. I think King of the Monsters is one of the most overrated movies of all time. I think it's easily my least favorite MonsterVerse movie, and everyone rates it at the top just because King Ghidorah is in it. I'm gonna say it. I really don't think it's that much super special. Rodan's kind of cool, has a cool moment. Mothra's really cute, but I just don't like it as much as everything else. I still think it's a really good movie. And it's worth watching if you're watching the whole MonsterVerse. But I think it's easily my least favorite MonsterVerse project. Second least favorite, if we're counting like that Skull Island Netflix show. Probably the second. That's probably the worst one because it just kind of ends and is now a comic book. But yeah, Godzilla King of the Monsters is kind of overrated. I think it has good monster action, but like, man, I did not really like Millie Bobby Brown's character in that movie. Yeah. And then Skull Island, ooh, one of my favorites. I think it's super fun to blast through. It's very rewatchable, much like Cloverfield. I think those two movies are super like, bro, let's get to it. Let's get to the point. You can skip the intro even and just get to the point where they get on the island. They're flying over the helicopters and Kong shit cans all of them. It's like when you skip the party scene, you skip to the part where like the monster shows up in Cloverfield. Don't do that on your first watch, but you know, like if you just like want to see like all the cool stuff, and then like it sets up King of the Monsters really well at the end. Yeah, I think Skull Island is probably one of my favorite MonsterVerse movies. I like it more than I like Godzilla vs. Kong. Another one which is like really fun. I think it has a lot of cool moments, but I think the characters aren't as fun as they are in Skull Island or in a movie we'll talk about in a little bit. Um, yeah, um, they fight obviously, but then it's like a total non-factor because then they just have to team up to fight something else, which ends up being Mechagodzilla, um, which is a really cool fight, and I love the Mechagodzilla design in this show, in this movie. Yeah, I love the MonsterVerse. It's probably my favorite thing. It's like Marvel to me. Like how some people really care about Marvel movies. I really love the MonsterVerse. Yeah, I think I said my opinions fairly well on that. And here's the newest one, the new Empire. I think this is a really good direction for them to go in. I will say my biggest critique about this is the fact that they are underground makes me not really notice how big they are. You know what I'm saying? They don't feel big until the end of the movie. Like they're literally just normal size in their world, so it's literally just like watching CGI monkeys fight for the first little bit. Characters a lot better, lot all the characters are a lot better in this. They aren't Monarch Legacy of Monsters good, but they are very, very, very solid. And Pink Godzilla is really cool. And there's a lot of really cool, like, memeable moments in this movie. And I like the end and the fight, and it introduces Shimo, who's really cool. Scar King's kind of meh, but yeah, it's crazy to think about where this series goes from Godzilla 2014, like, to this crazy departure. Let's continue. Okay. Top 10 movie of all time, Shin Godzilla. 2016. Oh my god, this movie is so fun to watch. Watch it if you first time you watch it, if you're English speaking, just watch it dubbed. I know it's a little bit of a lesser experience, but you'll be reading so much if you're watching it subbed. Like I think it would actually be like a bit of a hard first watch. I've definitely done both, and I would say like if I'm casually watching it, I'm still gonna watch it dubbed. This is one of the few dubs I think is actually really well done too. All the Godzilla stuff is really well done. Oh my god, this the coolest version of Godzilla. Um, Easily one of the scariest. Like visually, like I think -1 might be scarier as far as like what he does. Like he's just like killing people, and like he's fast at points in -1. But bro, this dude's so menacing. Oh my god. And like he comes out and he's like looks like a puppet, and like he's growing, and then like there's like some funny moments where the guy's like he's not gonna make it to land, and then he's made landfall. Yeah, really fun. um from the creator of Evangelion. 10 out of 10 movie. So amazing. Then we move on to kind of an era of Godzilla that deserves a rewatch from me. Like this whole kind of Heisei, no, this kind of era, like the 2000s stuff. Here's Godzilla vs. Destroyer and Megaguirus. Megaguirus is one of my favorites, which is weird considering I think a lot of people don't really like that one. Megaguirus might even be top 5 for me. I really like that movie. Destroyer is really fun too. Got melting, burning Godzilla in that one. Destroyer is also like a really fun one. And yes, this was the first, like I got this at Barnes and Noble, my first like kind of 2-pack of like Japanese Godzilla movies. I think I had seen Godzilla versus Kong, like the 1960 whatever one, and yeah, it really stuck out. Let's continue. Another one of my favorites is Final Wars right here, and then we got Tokyo SOS. Final Wars just going crazy. It has a Zilla in it from the American Godzilla. It has literally every freaking Godzilla enemy or like villain rival you would want in there, and they all fight, and they all freaking fight so hard. This movie's so crazy. Tokyo SOS I also like as a Mechagodzilla kind of movie. This one needs a rewatch. I'm actually struggling to remember stuff about it, but Final War is really fun. We got Godzilla against Godzilla, and Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, giant monsters, all out attack. It's kind of more the same. I struggle to remember the differences between Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, which some of you will probably hate on me for, except for the fact that Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 definitely has more kind of enemies in it. Yeah, I need to rewatch all of this stuff, because like I watched it all like in a row when I got into it, and then like I kind of just kept rewatching like the stuff I liked the most. So I think all this stuff deserves a second viewing for me. And yeah, here's this one. Space Godzilla is really cool. I remember that one. And if he comes back in Supernova, that's cool. If he doesn't, I would rather it not be Space Godzilla personally. I think he's kind of a weird first choice after all the Toho stuff, because you got all the Toho stuff in King of the Monsters, and you're gonna choose Space Godzilla over Gigan or like even like Megalon, something like that. We already talked about Kong Skull Island, but let's talk about Godzilla 2014 and how much I love that movie, and how it is my favorite MonsterVerse movie unabashedly, and it is very much a comfort movie. I've seen it so many times, and so many people don't like it, and you know what, that's fine. It's fine that nobody likes that movie, because that makes it something personal to me. I would like Bryan Cranston's character to live throughout the whole movie too, but somehow it works out for me. I enjoy it. I know Aaron Taylor Johnson kind of gets a lot of crap, but I think he does fine enough. He does a good enough job to hold my attention. And I like the ending. The Muto fight is cool. The Muto kind of looking like Cloverfield a little bit. I'm almost threatening to sue over for Paramount over that, but yeah, I love 2014 Godzilla. It's my favorite MonsterVerse movie, and you can fight me on that. If we're gonna talk about the five main ones, I'd probably go King of the Monsters is the worst one, then probably Godzilla vs Kong, um, then probably New Empire, Skull Island, 2014. That's kind of how I feel. And here, let us continue with a whole bunch of Godzilla DVDs, I think. Yep, let's talk about Versus Biollante. One of the coolest and most unique kind of villains, because it's a freaking plant, bro. And yeah, a really fun movie. I think looking the behind the scenes stuff about how like they made the puppet is also like super like cool and like makes me think, man, what could I do for like stuff like with these guys? I just punched Zom in the face. I'm so sorry, Zom. Let's continue. Here is King Kong vs. Godzilla. Fun, so fun. Oh my god, I love this movie. Godzilla looks terrible, Kong looks terrible, and they fight. And the plot is not important. And yeah, the part where he's like on the helicopter, he's being lifted, and it's so stupid. Maybe I'll rewatch this today, because like that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. Oh, here's Godzilla and Mothra, The Battle for Earth, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and another version, copy of Giant Monsters All Out Attack. The Blu-ray 2-pack of these two movies is like very hard to find, probably because it's King Ghidorah and Mothra, but I found this, so it's still it's fine. Yeah, more really solid Godzilla content on these, that I still need to rewatch to get myself more of a structured opinion. I remember this one fairly well though. Godzilla 2000. I remember this one has like the kid and the dad in it, and like there's a UFO, and that ends up being, oh my god, what's that? What did they call that character? Frick. I'm not gonna remember. But Godzilla fights them at the end. A really fun version of Godzilla. Yeah, I remember the part where they're trying to get out of the building. Yeah, a little bit better than some of the other ones. Godzilla 1984 or 1885, The Return of Godzilla. He's just a freaking dick. I think this is a nice kind of like precursor to -1 almost, just because he's such like a evil kind of dude in this one. And yeah, it's fun. It's another really good version of Godzilla. Let's talk about the 1933 classic Inglorious Black and White, King Kong. It's a fun movie. The back calls this a horror film, which is not accurate at all. It's not very scary. It's fun. I think the effects are great. Probably this movie's gonna turn 100 years old in a few years. So I don't have like super strong feelings on this. I think it's fun, and I think it's great to look at a movie that's this old and like enjoy it. But I think it has very little on the original Gojira. Then let's talk about from the creators of Independence Day, Godzilla 1998, 99? Well, I think it's 1998, right? Whatever. I don't hate this movie. I think it's weird that Godzilla can disappear. He's so big. I think Cloverfield established they're gonna kind of, keep their freaking eyes on the thing. It's not gonna disappear into like a river. I don't necessarily like the end, like the part where they're in Madison Square Garden and like all the little Godzillas are out. It doesn't feel like Godzilla, but it is. It's big, it's loud, it's fun. I think that quote actually is exactly accurate. And something I think is better is the series. I've seen about 3 or 4 episodes of it, and I enjoyed what I watched. Also, this was like $5, and there's like 40 episodes in here. So yeah, I think this is a really good deal. Yeah, I like this animation style. It's really fun. I need to finish it. Alright. Oh my god, I forgot about my Showa era. Okay, here it is. Showa era. I got this for Christmas a few years ago. Like right before like the big Godzilla boom that happened around the time of -1. Which I'm glad that like Godzilla's popular because it means I get to view a lot more stuff. But like I'm happy I got into it before it was kind of popular again, because I was able to get this for a really good deal. Now this is back to being like full price. Like we'll just kind of go through them one by one. Godzilla 1964, the original, 1954, excuse me. It and Cloverfield kind of go back and forth as far as like what's my favorite movie of all time. Godzilla Raids Again, not great. Love that it introduces Anguirus though. We already talked about King Kong vs. Godzilla. Mothra vs. Godzilla. I love Mothra as a character. She's so cute. But not necessarily one of my favorite Godzilla enemies either. I think she's much better by herself. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Very iconic. Really amazing movie. Another one of the best. Invasion of Astro Monster. Super stupid, and that's what you gotta love about it. Ebra, Horror of the Deep, kind of like was originally supposed to be a Kong movie, and I think you can really tell. It doesn't really feel like a Godzilla movie, but it's fun. Son of Godzilla, I love Minya, and like he's such a cutie pie. I love it. Super fun, super great. I like it. Destroy All Monsters, and All Monsters Attack. Destroy All Monsters is better, just because it's stupid and it's just them beating the crap out of each other. And I think they introduce a few more monsters just for it. All Monsters Attack is trash. Hedorah has some cool ideas. It's very trippy and not something I think a casual Godzilla fan would enjoy. Gigan is one of my favorite Godzilla enemies. I love his design. I love his little action figure I have over there but that's the Final Wars design. Megalon is a great. I would love a Godzilla x Kong movie where they fight Megalon and Gigan together. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, really fun. King Caesar's in it too. Very memorable. Terror of Mechagodzilla, not as good as the first. Still pretty solid, and I think we just got through every Godzilla movie. We did it, guys. Okay, and now I am going to do the Scooby-Doo, and we are going to get through these as fast as possible because I've been going for about 50 minutes. So yeah, let's start off with the original Where Are You? It's the second best version of Scooby-Doo. We'll talk about my favorite when we get to it. It inspires me. I've seen these episodes at least 50 times a piece. I love, maybe not 50 times, some of the, like, the What a Night for a Night and, like, Castle in the Castle, definitely, but, like, I've seen these episodes so many times, and, like, they never get old. I love the animation style. I love Scooby-Doo. The new Scooby-Doo movies, they're charming. I think they are a bit long on the tooth. They're all about 40 minutes. I think if you kind of shrunk them down to being 30 minutes, I think they would all be a little better. And I obviously don't really know much about the guest kind of stars in these movies because I wasn't really around, except for like Batman, like, you know. A pup named Scooby-Doo. I think the first season is truly amazing. Very much not as familiar with all of these. 2, 3, and 4. I think it's weird that they put out season 1 and then 2, 3, and 4 are all together. But 2, 3, and 4 must be short AF. I like the style of these. It does end up being one of my lesser favorites, though. Godzilla, Scooby-Doo, The Mystery Begins, and Curse the Lake Monster. I really love Mystery Begins. I almost want to say I like it on par with the Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr. Original live action one, but I think it's probably just like a notch below it. I really like the first one. Curse of the Lake Monster, not necessarily as much, but it's still fun. Kaylee Kiyoko, I love her. Okay, we're already at the greatest animated show and probably one of the top 2 influences on my stage short story series, Mystery Incorporated. This is the complete season 1 and complete season 2. Don't go after this. This is expensive. There's like individual packs where you can get all the episodes for a much better deal. Or you can watch them on Netflix. It's all on Netflix. Holy crap, I love this. I could talk for hours about it. I think season 1 is flawless and season 2 is damn near flawless. My favorite episode of Scooby-Doo, All Fear the Freak. Like, legitimately, all these episodes have moments I like. Even, like, the lesser episodes are, like... I think once you hit towards the end of season 2, sometimes it feels like you have a mystery that is not necessarily important to the plot, because you're just getting, like, the overarching plot stuff, and then it feels like kind of like the mystery is a little bit shoehorned in, but that's only for a few episodes. I think once you get to like that last few episodes, it all pays off. Like, you can deal with it. I think Through the Curtains, super fun. Come Undone. Oh, I think I'm actually looking at the wrong one. Dark Knight of the Hunter, Gates of Gloom. I think The Night the Clown Cried is really cool because it's like the only episode. It's like 2 parts, and it's separated by the House of the Nightmare Witch in the middle. I do think there are some lesser episodes on here, like I think Scare Bear maybe, but legitimately doesn't take away from it. Literally the most perfect show I can think of, because I don't think any show's like a perfect 10 out of 10. There's never been anything where I've been like, this is perfect all the way through. I'm going to stop gushing about it. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on it, I have a past live stream where I did a tier list of every single villain in the show. So yeah. Alright. Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2, kind of forgettable. And to date, the last direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movie. I hope it's not the last, but it kind of feels like it might be. Yep. I don't know how this didn't get a tax write-off, and we didn't get the new Hex Girls movie, but we got this, and I mean, I'm happy we have it. I love Scooby, but this one didn't do it for me as much as some of the other ones did. Zombie Island. I didn't grow up with this one as much as other people did, which is why I don't think I like it as much as other people do. I still think it's a freaking amazing movie. There's some weird Confederate imagery though that maybe doesn't age super well, but fine. It's solid. It's really good. I like it. Yeah. I need to get moving. Otherwise, we're going to be here for an hour, which I think we will be. But yeah, a movie I have a lot more kind of that nostalgia for is The Witch's Ghost. I think the setting and like everything the animation is beautiful, and it's so great, and it's awesome. Also, just so you know, I own every Scooby-Doo property. I just don't own all of them in cases. I have a binder down there with all the other movies in it, which I could go over, but we'll see how I feel at the end of it. I might just whip it out and just like speed run through it. WrestleMania Mystery, as a wrestling fan, I can even acknowledge this isn't necessarily one of my favorites. I think the bear is weird, and how like all the characters, there's like characters. I wish they just stuck to wrestlers, to be honest with you, because that's probably what people wanted. But they have to introduce new characters. I think that was probably like maybe a mandate. Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, truly amazing, super awesome, so fun, awesome, amazing, amazeballs. So sad the sequel to this didn't get made. The Scooby-Doo and Dynamite Hour, this is season 1, I believe, of the Scooby-Doo show, plus some Blue Falcon episodes. Not as big on Blue Falcon, I think it's okay, but the first season of the Scooby-Doo show is spectacular. Very much a great follow-up to Where Are You? Gourmet Ghost, pretty solid, kind of middle of the road, kind of like a B tier movie. Be Cool Scooby-Doo is super overhated. I like this movie. This movie. I like this show a lot. I like the humor in it. I think it's like, it appeals to kids and like maybe people like me who like have been watching, so they're trying to like appeal to both parties or whatever. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. There is like 1 or 2 episodes of this that I really hate though. Like I think Eating Crow is legitimately my least favorite episode of Scooby-Doo of all time. Here's Scooby and Scrappy Doo, the complete season 1. It's Scooby and Scrappy Doo. I haven't opened this because this is the complete 3rd season of Where Are You? This is actually the 3rd season of the Scooby-Doo show, but I also have it in here. It's a really good season, but like I already own it, so like I don't know why. I got these both for Christmas, so like it's on here, but it's also on here. You know what I'm saying? So there's no reason for me to open this. I just watched this for the first time. Daphne and Velma. It feels like a Disney Channel show, like a Disney Channel movie, which is nice. It kind of gave me that vibe, but it's weird. The villain's weird. It's all weird. It's kind of weird. Here's 50 episodes of Scooby-Doo, the 50 cartoon collection. The copy I have is tattered. There's like little bits in it. But it's nice to have a version like this. Fun, super fun. It has some episodes that have never been released on DVD, which is kind of why I wanted it. Fun, I like it. Scooby-Doo Blow Up Beach Blast, and Lego Scooby-Doo Blow Up Beach Bash, and Haunted Hollywood. I think Haunted Hollywood's really good, and I think Blow Up Beach Blast is solid. I think the Lego stuff really, they do a lot with it, but I think Blow Up Beach Bash has like, I don't like plots where like they're just like fighting. I think that's like super lazy. But yeah, really fun. I think it's great. I think it's great. Scooby-Doo live action, with Matthew Lillard, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and now I feel bad I don't remember her name. Super fun. I don't like this as much as other people do, which is weird. I know. I still think it's great. I think it's very WTF. But I love it. I love it. I love the soundtrack. I think it has good humor. I think it's great. I think I might like the sequel a little more though. I'm not gonna lie. Shaggy Showdown is okay. I would say it's pretty solid. Kind of also like high C, kind of B tier Scooby stuff. Big Top Scooby-Doo. The disc is very clearly. Oh, it is in here. I really appreciated the ending, just kind of like defying a little bit of expectations. I think that gives this one a little points. I think this is high B, low A tier kind of Scooby stuff. And yeah, we got What's New seasons 1 and 2. I own season 3 on DVD, just not in a box. I like this show. I think it's a tad bit overrated, but it's still the one I grew up on, so it's probably, I'm pretty sick of it. Not like sick of it, but you know, I've seen them all to death. But there's a lot of really, really amazing episodes on here. This is a fever dream. Kiss, Why Kiss, Rock and Roll Mystery. This is one of my least favorites. Here's 3, Frank and Creepy, Moon Monster Madness, and Chill Out. Frank and Creepy I think is amazing. Moon Monster Madness, is really cool. Just Loki just having a xenomorph. Chill Out's also really amazing. I think all of these are kind of like B tier kind of movies, some low A's. Frank and Creepy is actually one of my favorites, so it's probably higher. Curse the Speed Demon, somehow even worse than WrestleMania Mystery. Not my favorite, but still like fun. I like that they focus more on tag teams. I think that was a good direction to go in. And let's finish this off with here's Guess Who. I need to finish. I need to watch. I think season 2. I like the animation style. I like that the team that made this got to make Trick or Treat. So yeah, I like them. It's just since every episode has a guest star, like I don't care about every episode as much as I would if it was just the Scooby Gang. But I like the animation style kind of being more classic. Okay. And the last physical movie we're going to talk up in case, here's 10 Scooby-Doo films. Let's rattle them off. Batman Brave and the Bold, a lot better than Crypto 2 as far as like a DC crossover. Really solid, kind of like a B, maybe high C. Curse of the 13th Ghost, Happy Halloween and Return to Zombie Island. Those are all kind of like a trilogy. I didn't hate them as much. I think they're just kind of okay. I think they're all kind of B tier movies. Scooby-Doo, The Sword and the Scoob, like a C tier, not like my favorite. Straight Out of Nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog, also C tier. Not Courage is something I liked growing up, but I don't remember as much. Gourmet Ghost we already talked about. Scooby-Doo the movie we already talked about. Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, I low-key like it more. Really fun, awesome, fun, way more memeable, kind of quotable stuff. I would say I like it more. And then we got Scoob. Low-key kind of lumped that in with Cloverfield Paradox and Until Dawn as somewhat overhated, but still kind of like I get it. I think it's okay. As a cinematic universe, I will admit, as setting up a cinematic universe, it absolutely fails. Alright, let's finish this off real quick. Alright, here's my big binder of Scooby-Doo shit. We're just gonna go through it. Season 3 of Where Are You? I already kind of talked about. Laugh Olympics is really solid, if not a little underwhelming to me. I think it's fun. Let's see, a lot of just like compilation discs of just like episodes. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. I don't own all those episodes, so I guess that's something I still kind of need. It's an okay show. Curse of the 13th Ghost is fun, if not a little bit underwhelming to me. Some of my older copies of stuff. Alright, so yeah. That's He-Man, Master of the Universe. I don't really need to talk about that. Alright, and then we go over to the movies. Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood is really kind of I think it's funny. It's not Scooby-Doo. It's kind of like a C-tier movie. Boo Brothers, really fun, really solid. Would like it a bit more if it had like 10 minutes slashed off of it. Ghoul School, love it, amazing, super awesome. I love it. Ironically, I always forget how the ending goes because I remember always watching like the first 50 minutes of it, but never getting to like the end. Reluctant Werewolf, not my favorite, kind of lower tier. One of like actually probably my least favorites. Scooby-Doo Alien Invaders, fun. Like this one a lot. I think that the villains are cool. The fact that there are aliens in it, I think it's cute. And I also have like a CD of a whole bunch of songs from it. Like there's like a version of Shaggy singing like Purple People Eater for some reason. Cyber Chase, I've seen this movie so many times. I'm sick of it. I've legitimately seen this probably more than any of the other ones, so I'm probably just burnt out on it while admitting it's very solid. Legend of the Vampire, I like it a lot. It is just feel like a very long episode of What's New though. Monster in Mexico and Loch Ness Monster, both very fun, really fun. I think the use of CGI though in or like 3D animated stuff in Loch Ness Monster is not great, but these two very good, very good. Aloha Scooby-Doo, one I didn't like as much coming back to it as an older person. Um, I thought it was one of the weaker ones from this era, whereas my mummy really solid like a nice twist villain in there. Pirates Ahoy, kind of on the same, slightly better than Aloha Scooby-Doo. Um, kind of one of the lesser movies. Chill Out ended up being one of my favorites. I watched this one recently actually, and it still held up very well. Goblin King, I need to rewatch Goblin King again. I think it's one of the ones I've watched the least, but it's more out there than most of modern Scooby stuff. It feels a lot more like 80s or like back when stuff was real. Samurai Sword is kind of in the middle in terms of the what's new era, maybe lower middle kind of area. Um, yeah, and then we're on to what I consider to be like my golden age when they revamped it all with Abracadabra Do. I watched this one again recently. Super fun, super great, super awesome. Everything looks amazing in it. It has such a simple but well effective plot. Camp Scare is my favorite Scooby-Doo movie of all time, I think. Just like generic in the best way possible, I feel like is a good way to describe it. It's not try and be something it's not. Music of the Vampire, another really good one, but not as good as I remember it being. Phantasaur, kind of somewhere in the middle in terms of this era. Blue Falcon, I like it. I like the idea of the Blue Falcon just being some old guy yelling at trees in a field. And then, yeah, they have to go based off like the comics and stuff like that. Stage Fright, really fun, really amazing. Once like the first two things happen in terms of the ending, you kind of see where it's going though. Then we got Moon Monster Madness again, and I think that's it. Oh my god. Thank you for if for whatever reason you watched this whole video of me talking about movies for over an hour, you are a real one. Yeah, my voice is tired. I really didn't anticipate this taking that long. But alas, I have a lot to say about a lot of things. So this is consider this yeah. At the end of May, at the beginning of May, you get daily uploads in May. There's that announcement. That's everything we talked about just now, and maybe one day in the future I'll do my video game collection, but today is not that day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm done talking. Bye.